is I really wanted to clean my camera equipment, because we just took a trip to Maine, where we recorded last night's video. Oh, hold on, somebody's texting me. Apologies, I received a text message. Anyway, we took this trip to Maine. We recorded last night's video. Kermit gives Bigfoot a haircut. It was a lot of fun, but we also did a bunch of hikes. We were up in Acadia National Park. And so we were hiking up a bunch of mountains, and of course I always take my camera with me everywhere. The camera I'm recording on right now is my backup camera. It's like if I need a second angle or whatever, that is just a Canon R50V. This is my actual camera. This is what I record all my videos on, literally, pretty much. This is the Canon R6 Mark II. This is my favorite camera that I have ever owned. Before this camera, I was recording on a 90D, which this is gonna have a lot of camera nerd talk, I think. So if you're somebody who doesn't care about that, maybe you'll just get bored to sleep. But anyway, that was my previous camera, which was a DSLR. This is my first mirrorless camera. I love it. It's by far my favorite camera that I own, that I've ever owned. I've owned about 5 cameras. Five cameras. Before this. And, yeah, it's great. But I have to tell you a little story, maybe while we start, taking some stuff apart. We went on a hike, and I have this very nice backpack that I'll put camera stuff in, but I'll put everything in it. I'll put my waters in it. I know it's not very good for it. I know that I could probably, put it somewhere safer, but I'll just kind of throw everything in this nice backpack. But when we went on this hike, my friends wanted me to they wanted to make tuna fish sandwiches up at the top of one of the hikes and just hang out there and eat tuna fish sandwiches and look out at the view. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So we have to bring a container of tuna fish and some bread and stuff like that, right? They were like, yep. But I have the biggest backpack because I have all this camera stuff that I bring with me everywhere. And so they were like, can you put all of this tuna fish and the bread in your bag? And I agreed to this. We went about halfway up the mountain when all of a sudden I was like, hey, can anybody else smell tuna fish? Turns out, the container was not sealed very well, and tuna fish, wet, watery tuna fish, got all over my entire bag. It got on my camera, not that much, thank goodness. It actually didn't get on this lens, hardly at all, because I had it in a separate pouch. But it still has a small, it still smells like tuna fish. So, for the past week plus, my camera, my lenses, my equipment, all smell like tuna fish. Not the greatest smell. I'm sure most of you guys would agree with me on that one. To have your electronics smell like it is definitely not ideal. So I'm actually hoping to clean. You can actually see there's like, I don't know, you might not be able to see it in this lighting, but you can see this like weird sparkly shiny, that's dried tuna fish. So tonight we're going to take my camera apart. We're not gonna take it apart, we're just gonna take the lens off. use my various camera cleaning tools to clean these two pieces of equipment. And hopefully it can be nice and relaxing. And actually, first, I think I will start with this one. This is probably my favorite lens, if I'm being honest. This is the Canon 70 to 200mm f4 lens. Expensive, but great. My videos and photos, I remember when I got this lens, it really did feel like I was a professional after this. Like, just gonna get a little rubbing alcohol. That's what I usually use just to give lenses a quick wipe down. Yeah, I remember when I got this lens, this was like the first time when I took a photo, I really was like, wow, this looks significantly better than anything I have ever taken before. Just like raw photos just look phenomenal. And I've kind of been in love with it ever since. The good news is that this lens did not really get too much, damage to it from the tuna fish. There's a little bit of stuff, but it's not bad. And we'll take off the cap. You can see that, I don't know, maybe you can't. I don't know. Take a look, maybe. I don't know. You can kind of see there's a lot of schmutz. Now, I do have a UV filter over this lens and this other one because they're my two most expensive lenses, and I do not like not having them properly protected because if they break, you are just out more money than I care to admit. So, but in case you guys want to know where the ad revenue goes, it usually goes to improving the quality of videos, and that's usually through new equipment, props, such. This one was definitely one of the bigger ones, one of the bigger purchases. There is definitely something here. Alright, I'm going to show you guys. Hold on. I have this cleaning multi-tool. See this? And it has this cool brush that you can get. There is something in the little ridges of this lens that's not coming out. It's like a sparkly something or other. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's tuna fish. Who knows? At this point, everything is just tuna fish. Honestly, though, that looks pretty great. I'm not gonna take the UV filter off because the UV filter never came off. So there's really no reason for me to do that. One thing that I will do is give it a quick spray with this electronic glass cleaner. And we'll just let that sit for a minute. But yes, so our trip was absolutely wonderful. It really was. We had such a good time. We were only gone for 3 full days. And one of those days was recording the Kermit video, which was probably one of the most fun videos I've ever recorded, I want to say. We had a lot of fun, goofing around, and having a nice time building memories, making memories, and having adventures. I've actually been to Maine, one other time. I went to Maine in 2022, 2022. was just me and a couple of friends. And it was great. We had a wonderful time. And so finally we were like, why don't we go back? Like, there's no reason why we couldn't go back. Just making sure this looks good. This is the side that is very, very sketchy. Alright, I'm going to use a soft brush just quickly to get some, there's a little bit of stuff like hair and such. Nothing crazy though. Yeah. Hold on, sorry. You guys can't see what I'm doing, but it's because I'm focused. Okay, that's good. Again, I'm usually very, very careful with this lens, so there's nothing actually on the inside. But, okay, there it is. The 70 to 20, or 200, not to 20, the 200 millimeter f4. This lens is a great all-purpose lens with a bit more zoom. Love that lens if you're looking for like a lens that can kind of be a telephoto, but not really. This is the one. Which is later, because telephoto lenses, who the heck wants to carry telephoto lenses around? I mean, I don't. I hate carrying around all this, but it's what must be done. Okay, so now we're actually going to just press this button right here on the side that maybe you can see and maybe you can't, because it's kind of dark in here, which I like to do on purpose. And we're going to take the camera off of its lens, and we have it here right here. I actually have this attached to it. I'm probably going to take that off. I keep it on because it's my tripod mount. It goes to the tripod that I use 90% of the time. But we won't keep that on there. Alright, so here is the camera. You guys can see it in all of its camera glory. Pretty. Very nice. I got some kind of notification on some device that I have. We're gonna work on... Sorry, I'm just readjusting myself. We're gonna work on the lens first. So, this is my favorite lens, especially for photography, but this is the lens I use about 90% of the time for videos. This is the standard kit lens that comes with this camera, which was a 24 to 105 millimeter. You get some wider angles and you still get some zoom. 105 is honestly not a bad zoom. I really like this lens. But it's not quite as crisp as this one. It's very good. It's still great. I love it. It's just not quite as crisp and clean and sharp as that. Like, I'm one of those freaks that when I got a bunch of different lenses, I would take a million photos of different things with all of these cameras, put them on a computer, blow them up, let me see what they look like, see how they handle and all that. And this one just was like the best. It outperformed everything. This is also an f4. I do have an f2.8. It's actually what is on this camera that you are watching through right now. I don't have a f2.8 in this exact zoom range. It's actually just a standard 35 millimeter that I have for the f2.8. I really want to get and by the way, I realize as I'm talking to you guys, like, you understand all camera equipment stuff. That's the aperture, which largely affects a camera's brightness, and how, sharp an image can be even in lower lighting. Alright, I think I need a little bit more alcohol, because the alcohol that was on this next, please. But, yeah. So, that's a little something. I've always kind of wanted to do a camera nerd video, meaning like where I talk about camera stuff, and that's like the video. I just don't think my audience is necessarily the audience that really would appreciate or care. And I know there are definitely some of you who would, but I don't think the vast majority of people will not care. So it's probably not worth doing. But just a little bit of rubbing alcohol. I find that rubbing alcohol fixes just about everything. Just about anyway. Sometimes it ruins things, but not these electronics. Never had electronic stuff. One time I used rubbing alcohol to clean I should not even say this. I used rubbing alcohol to clean a guitar once, and I just rubbed the varnish, or I rubbed the shine off of the guitar. And so I ended up having to get a polishing kit, like a full-blown polishing kit, to reapply and re-polish the entire guitar. Don't ask me what my thought process was there, because there wasn't a thought process. I was just like, oh, this guitar needs to be cleaned. Rubbing alcohol is a good cleaner. No, it is not. It is not a good cleaner for a guitar. Do not make my mistake. Do not use rubbing alcohol to clean a guitar. Maybe you could use it like, I don't even know. I don't know. I don't want to know. I don't want to think about it. I get sad every time. Okay, we're going to use this to just blow out some of the dust. I want to give this a quick look over. Yeah, honestly, I'm not going to touch this. I'm not going to touch that at all. That's clean. It's best not to touch those if you can avoid it, so I'm just not going to bother. Alright, it looks, I don't know if it'll focus, but it looks better. I can still see there's a couple spots that I really want to get still that are just not getting got, if that makes sense. It's significantly better than it was, though. And it smells like alcohol now. It doesn't smell like tuna fish, which is good. It actually still does have a very faint smell of tuna fish. Sorry, there was a spot. I wanted to get it if I could. I think that might just be some scratch. Yeah. These things happen. Sometimes you get little scratches on these lenses. I'm trying to use this brush to clean out all this. There is definitely still some tuna fish stuck in these little divots. Okay, that looks pretty good. But yeah, to answer the questions I have gotten, I actually got one, I think, in the last video. Somebody was asking me, wow, they said the cinematography and photography in this video is really good. Are you, in the industry? The answer is no. I'd love to be. I'm not. I'm just a very enthusiastic hobbyist. And have been for quite a long time. Actually, guys, hold on 2 seconds. Okay, sorry about that. I wanted to get one of these covers for when I flip it over. Like this. Alright, let's take a look at how scratched up you are. You guys won't be able to see, but I guess I can let you guys look like this. Yeah, okay, there's not much. This one's actually in better condition. The UV filter is actually significant. It's because it's newer. This UV filter I got not that long ago. This one I've had on it since I always such a weird thing, for sure. But, you know, we'll be in LA for a while, so who knows? I might make some connections there. Again, I'm still trying to figure out who I'm going to try to communicate about collaborating with when I go there, because I can't imagine there's no ASMR channels in LA that would not be down. We'll see. Alright, that is very nice. Let me just take a quick look at the lens itself. Yeah, I want to use some of the glass cleaner. I'm going to use some glass cleaner and let it sit for a minute. Let it sit. Actually, while we're waiting for that to settle for a second, I also do have this GoPro. Well, it's actually a DJI Action 5 GoPro that we also used on the trip. And it has seen better days. This camera has been used and abused, if you will, which is kind of the nature of a GoPro. If you really think about it, it's really kind of meant to be abused. I do like the DJI cameras a lot more than GoPro. I think GoPro cameras are mediocre. Action, the DJI cameras, GoPro style cameras are way better. I've had both, and I've enjoyed this one a lot more. I just think the features are more interesting. I like the way it unhooks and hooks into, I like this mechanism, which you probably don't even know how that works, but it just clips right into the bottom, and then you can hook it into things, which is way better than GoPro. GoPro, you needed to like take the whole case off, and I don't like it. Maybe the new ones are better. I don't know. Okay, I just wanted to give that one a quick wipe down while we are waiting, and then we can do this. Sorry, I feel like I'm at the bottom of the screen most of the time. I'm not trying to do that. It's just. And then. And this is just, you know, maintenance. This is just to make sure that I'm, you know, caring for my stuff. When you go on a big trip like that, it's usually very, very good to do that. You don't want to, you know, you want things to stay good. So now we're onto the actual camera. And here is the sensor. That's where the magic happens. I'm just going to blow inside the sensor. You usually do not touch the sensor. Do not touch it. Never touch it. It is the big no-no. Do not touch. Honestly, I should probably get one of my camera covers for the sensor. I will be right back. Okay, I got the cover on now, and that just protects the sensor while I'm working on the camera. You might also be wondering what this weird little thing is. This is for, what's it called? Is it Peak Design? Yeah, Peak Design, I think. I don't remember the name of the company. It's just how I have my camera strap on. It's how I put my camera strap onto my camera. It's just a quick connect, quick disconnect. It's very, very nice. I really like it. You know, as much as I do enjoy camera stuff, I also feel like I'm still such a novice as far as understanding the technicalities of things. I understand the basics pretty well at this point, but I feel like I'm always trying to learn and improve on my camera skills and understanding how to make videos look as good as they can. All of the, usually when I film things kind of like the Kermit video, where there's a lot of scenes and we're outside and stuff like that, I will just use the automatic setting, which you can kind of see on the little green. You see the green knob? Right? I don't know if it'll pick up. There we go. Yeah, I'll use that one because because it just kind of auto does everything for you. But I actually shot all of the scenes for the Kermit video in manual, which is just way more work because you're constantly going to be changing things around. You're constantly going to be, changing lighting and changing, right? So then you have to change your ISO, your aperture, right? These are all things you just have to think about. And a bunch of other things, by the way. White balance, things like that. You're always looking. You always have to be paying attention because you might think, oh wow, this scene looks cool, but then you don't actually have your camera on the right settings, and then it just doesn't look good anymore. It doesn't look as good as it could have looked. One thing that I'm always trying to work on is recording in higher lighting, even though I naturally like dark, because it's better to have more light, and then you can just change it in post, fix it in post, as they say, than it is to have it in darker, and then you're basically screwed if it's too dark. This is something that I know this. I do. I swear I do. But, come on, there you go. Take the battery out of this camera. Here's the battery compartment, and we're just going to... I'm actually going to do this. Looks pretty good. But yeah, that's something that I always have struggled with for whatever reason. It's just because I like the mood to be while I'm recording. It helps with like mental inspiration or something. When I see a video shot in the way that I want it to look, it makes me more excited and gets me more motivated or something. Whereas when I know I have to do a bunch of post stuff, it's not as fun to me. I don't know how to explain it. I just know that it annoys me. But, yeah, this is going quite well. I actually don't really think there's that much more to do. This is all looking quite dandy, quite good. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed the video last night. I have a feeling it's not going to do very well. And I think the reasoning is probably because I think some people have just gotten too many of the heebie-jeebies from Kermit, and they're basically just like, I'm not watching any more of those. I implore you to give it another try, if that is you. I do think that there is definitely something to be said about that. I also just think that I do a lot of videos that are very weird and different, and people, like I've said before, YouTube and the general ASMR community, they just like basic with small iterations, right? That's part of the whole, like, 1 millionth cranial nerve exam joke. It's like, yeah, that's because there's about 1 million of them, and people usually want the exact same cranial nerve exam every time. I cannot do that. I just can't do it. I see ASMR channels that do it. I see people who literally, like, it's once a month they're pumping out the most generic kind of ASMR content, and it's, like, really well done. Very, very cinematic, very beautiful, very well put together, right? They've really honed in that, and that's their whole thing, and they pull in way more views than I do. I just can't sell myself to that, though. It's like, that just feels like, I don't know, that makes it feel like it's just a job. If you just have to keep doing the exact same thing over and over again, your 5 millionth makeup, video, your haircut role plays, your cranial nerve exam, your doctor exams, those videos they have their place. But those videos have been around since the beginning of ASMR, of the community. there's just so many of them. I just like seeing something different. And so, that's why I don't really conform to that usually. But, there's a big but there. I think my point is proven, though, that it is possible. Because when I started making more generic videos, when I did the cranial nerve exam, even the lobotomy video is a very, like, it's a doctor roleplay, right? So it's a doctor. That's just all you really need to. Even the color consultant, all of my salesman videos, those are way more like, those are ASMR videos, right? And whenever I just do those, my videos do like 3 times better, sometimes more than that. So there is something to, my basic point is, but there is something to be said, that I should, or that I, also just need to do it a little bit, because it does help the channel, and it helps me continue to do more wacky ideas. Sometimes you need to do all that stuff so that you can actually, you need to get the generic stuff out of the way so that you can really get creative with some of your other stuff. So that being said, it's just something that I need to work on in my own head, if that makes sense. Because the reality is like, I think part of why I don't do those videos as much is because I don't watch them. I don't watch cranial nerve exams. I don't watch haircut role plays. Those are not the kind of ASMR videos I enjoy. I like real, authentic, raw videos. Those are usually the only kinds of ASMR videos I watch anymore. There was a time in which I was big on the, other stuff. Sorry. This actually has this nice scrub pad, and I'm going to use it on the... And, by the way, everything that I'm saying, I hope you know, I'm not judging or, people can like whatever they want. I'm not one to... it's very clear that people like a specific thing, and that's wonderful, and that's fine. It doesn't bother me. I have my community. I think there are literally thousands of you that thoroughly enjoy what I do and the way that I do it. That's all I care about. I'm in this for just being allowed to continue making the things that I want to make. I'm not here to, be anything specific, really. And so, that being said, I'm very glad that so many people enjoy those kinds of role plays. I do wish people were a little more adventurous. Sometimes. But that's not that big of a deal. There's just a little spot right here. I'm just getting the brush right in here. Also, I feel like I've really been rambling now. Okay. Yeah. This looks really good. This looks really clean. Much cleaner than the last one, or than it was before. And wait. Does not smell like tuna fish anymore. That's really nice. Alright, my friends. Actually, did I finish? I think I did with the GoPro. Yeah. Okay. Alright, my friends. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. It was probably a little more raw than I was expecting it to be, meaning I was actually like talking about stuff and not just cleaning my camera. But I think that's kind of nice, and I think it allows us to kind of have a real relationship rather than, just me being me all the time. It's nice to have some conversations and talk about our feelings about things a little bit. That's always nice. And if this ends up coming out on Mother's Day, which I don't actually know if it will, because I might be too busy to even bother editing it. Happy Mother's Day. Regardless, I hope you spoil your mothers rotten, and if you are a mother or a grandmother, have a wonderful day. You deserve it. And so, that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Remember to leave a like if you enjoyed this, of course. Go check out the Kermit video. Again, if you haven't done it, please do. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work. It would be nice to see it at least do okay. And I guess that's it, my friends.